Americans are not flocking to Russia, and Westerners in general are not flocking to Russia to relocate and start a new life. And the truth is, I don't think that was the intention of the Russian government. As we know right now, I believe there are a couple 10,000s of Americans living in Russia. Let's just say that it's in the tens of thousands where Westerners are living inside of Russia. But Russians alone in the United States, Russian Americans, are in the millions. Now, the biggest difference between these two countries is that one country offers immigration based on economical gains. I believe that the Russian people, when they come to the United States, they want to move upwards economically, and that is what causes them to immigrate to a new country. Whereas Russia has opened its borders to Westerners based on ideological beliefs. And to be honest, this doesn't really work well with Americans. Americans are too busy trying to figure out what the hell they're going to eat and how the hell we're going to pay rent to worry about moving to another country for ideological reasons. We already have other states for that. We have Texas, we have Florida, Idaho, and to be honest, they don't even want people who come for ideological changes in those states either. So this is an interesting topic. This is something that I've been thinking about. The West and the United States have essentially rejected this shared values visa in a big way. And I think it's not something that Russia really cares about. I don't think that they were planning on having mass immigrants coming into their country. I don't think they designed it for that. But I don't also think that the people who are watching this video have been even thinking about this topic, but this is something that I brought up a long time ago, so I want to expand on this. When the shared values visa came out and the decree was put out by the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, when they put that out, it was channels like mine who actually even introduced that to the world. I wasn't pushing out Russian propaganda, I was just sharing the news that was happening in those days. And I believe that my videos got more views than even some of the Russian government pages and definitely other channels. This topic was very big on this channel, but now it's died off. And actually, I believe it's died off because I believe, like I said, Westerners are too busy trying to figure out what the hell they're going to eat to move somewhere because of what they believe in. Hunger is much more important than who's saying what or who's believing what, and feelings are not that important compared to hunger. Now, it's not to say that Westerners are not moving to Russia for ideological reasons. It's usually older people who have the money to do it, or people who are well off economically to move to Russia and make that move. For people like myself who came to Russia before that wasn't even a thing, we're still living and living very humbly, and I'm not planning on going through the shared values visa route because, again, I don't believe in ideological immigration because politicians, no matter where they are, change their minds like a whore changes her underwear. So I believe that I will not take advantage of the shared values. I love Russia. I love being here legally under the right visa that I have right now. My child is going to be born in Irkutsk Oblast. I'm so proud of that. But I want to know, guys, what do you think? What is it that doesn't entice people to come to Russia in the millions like America does? Is it an economical thing like I'm guessing it is? Because here in Russia, there's a lot of truck drivers, and some of the best truck drivers in the United States are actually Russian. So there you have the incentive to go from one country to another to perhaps get a little bit better pay. Ideologies don't give a damn. The Russian truck drivers will drive nonstop in the United States, make their money, and potentially come back to Russia. So money is really a good incentive for immigration. And in the Russian Federation, there's millions of immigrants from former Soviet countries that go just for that reason. I would say that there's a similar amount of Russian Americans in the United States to the amount of ex-Soviet countries' citizens living in Russia right now, in the millions. Some of the more known channels on YouTube from foreigners, again, these are people who either already have a family, already had a business, already had a house, they sold it in the United States or in the West, and they moved to Russia. You're not seeing a lot of poor people like myself moving to Russia under the shared values. Usually, it's the people who are well off. And this is something that Russia has to be careful with, because I think if you are going to invite people who are going to end up needing your help, like government help, might be a Trojan horse. I mentioned this in the past. And actually, because this channel gets viewed by so many people, we do actually get the question by hundreds of foreigners asking, how can I get welfare in Russia if I moved under the Share Values visa? How can Russia give me a paycheck? This is what they say, guys. This is the Western mentality, like handouts. I need the money, give me the money. And unfortunately for them, and fortunately for Russia, again, this is not an economic decree. This is not for people to come here and freeload. And yeah, that was really interesting. People asking, what are the free things that Russia can do for me? Now, the opposite of that is the YouTubers from Russia who left when the whole conflict started, and even after the conflict started. A great example is Sanctioned Ivan. You know, this guy, he leaves Russia for economic reasons. It's not ideological. No matter what he says, he didn't leave Russia because he doesn't agree. Well, he says he doesn't agree with the conflict in Ukraine, but everybody knows that if America were to give him a passport and American citizenship, he would go to the United States. I'm from the United States. I fought in a war. My country's always at war. We just did something against Iran, and we're doing stuff with Israel against the world. Anyways, that guy is a hypocrite, you see, because he did not leave Russia for ideological reasons. He left for economical reasons. And it's very simple to prove, because these are the type of people who will point the finger at Russia, but at the same time want to move to another country, who are, I mean, we're warmongers in the United States, and this is just our culture. But Americans, we can admit that. But people like this will say, no, 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 America is the best country. Ideologically, I want to move there because it's aligned more with my beliefs. No, you're a liar. Your videos show that you're a liar. And well, this is just the other side, right? There are Americans who move for economic reasons or ideological reasons, and there are also Russians who move for economic reasons and ideological reasons. There are some Russians who ideologically do not support the conflict because they don't want to take part in it, because usually they're young men. But these are my opinions, and I always value your guys' comments. I know that the people have various opinions, and videos like these might even get negative comments from my regular viewers. I understand that. But I'm here to let you know that I've been living in Russia for 3 years. I've been here before the decree. I've been here after the decree. I've seen the moving parts. I appreciate what Russia has given me: a beautiful wife, a future child in Irkutsk. And I understand Russia. I understand what it's doing. The decree was not economical. So for the Westerners who wanted freeloading off of Russia, it's not going to happen. And for the people who said, you see, it failed, well, the reality is that Russia never intended it to be a flood of Westerners, because this was not a way of enticing people economically. And that is the number one thing in the world that makes people move, is the money, because people are hungry and they want to move upward. This decree is not that. But sometimes I do get a little bit annoyed. It's like these channels who talk about the decree, and these families who come under the decree. I wish that they weren't put on the spotlight, because you never know what that can be used, right? You can never know what you're going to do in the future. You have young kids and stuff like this. I think it's a little bit dangerous politically to go to another country, because you do have to sign that you don't agree and you don't align and you refuse to obey or fall in line with what your government is doing, you do have to sign something away. Who knows how your government may react? But the children of these people who immigrate, those kids have no clue what the hell is going on. When you bring them a little bit older, it's a little bit worse, but when they're a little bit younger, they can assimilate, right? But it's just how it works. I've seen everything now, and I never thought that I would be in this position where I would be in the center of a huge movement, in the center of huge change, because with the YouTube community of immigrants in Russia like myself, we are a low number, and very few of us actually speak our minds, especially the way I do it. But if you think that I'm wrong about this, again, do comment. If you think that this was an incentive for economical gains or economical movement upwards, let me know, guys. I define the decree as an ideological decree, ideological immigration. Obviously, this is what the Russians have packaged it as, but the West has packaged it more as a huge attempt to lure Westerners into Russia, and they will say it failed miserably. And the Russians, I think, understand that the point was never to have a flood of immigrants. I think it was strictly ideological, because Russia is, to what they believe, a place where traditional values are secure here and they're not going to change. But again, this is impossible for humanity not to change, but Russia is fighting against a rapid change, right? Because even in Russia, things do change. A lot of people don't believe that you can be gay in Russia, but you can. What's not allowed is mainstreaming it and protesting in the name of it and all these things. But anyways, that's another topic for in itself. But ideologically, Russia is opening the light, or turning on the light, a lighthouse, a beacon, calling people who want to come to a country who is going to protect those old styles, the traditional values. We'll see how it continues to work, if it's going to bring more people in. But as of right now, it is not performing in the huge numbers that the West may have predicted mischievously. Like they said, oh, here it goes, let's see how the floodgates open. But no, it is probably, I think that this year it has more than last year, but it's going to start going down. And over the time, maybe Russia's going to have to create something for the immigrant who wants to come for economic reasons. And I am betting you right now that they will do it in the future. Because the truth is, there is so much room for growth in Russia. Russia has been studying what every other country has been doing. These decrees that have been unleashed to the world are something that probably Russia saw happen in other times, in other countries. Why? Because Russia has the time to do these things whenever it wants. Remember, although Russian history is very old, the Russian Federation as it is right now is pretty damn new. I know that Russians will say, oh, the Soviet Union was Russia, the Russian Empire was Russia. We have hundreds of years of history. Okay, relax, we get it. But the modern Russian Federation, guys, geez, you guys really always bombard me with this. The modern Russian Federation is a fairly new country. What it's done in the amount of time that it's existed is insane. It is a global superpower. It has a huge sphere of influence, economic partners all over the world, deals all over every continent. And so, when I'm telling you that these economic visas may come in the future, it's only a matter of time. Now, those types of visas, I do believe, will bring more people than the ideological ones. Why? Again, we go back to the beginning. Because Westerners are worried about what the hell they're going to eat, where they're going to live, if they can buy a new car, rather than other things that bother them. There are not a lot of things in the West that usually bother people anyways. There's probably only 3 major topics. I'm not going to get into them. You could probably think about them. Now, from those 3 topics, you have to imagine at least one of those 3 topics probably exists in Russia. Another thing, for Americans especially, I think that Russia's a little bit too closed for them. So I do believe that perhaps Canadians or Europeans are more likely to move to Russia for ideological reasons. Why? Because Americans will always ask, can I have drugs? Can I have my weapons? Can I carry a gun? These are the things that Russians are not often thinking about. So again, remember, a conservative in the United States is not the same as a conservative in Russia. Totally different flavors of people, totally different ambitions, totally different things that drive these people. So keep that in mind. But economically, yes, this is what really unites all men in the world. A truck driver in Russia is the same as a damn truck driver in the United States. And they all think the same. They want to get a new semi. They want to have a stable job. They want to have a place to live and grow a family. This is not only ideological, this is economical. You want to grow a family, so you need money. And please remember that if you made it this far in the video, I would highly appreciate it really if you subscribed and put the notifications on. This channel is now 89,000. The goal is 90,000 this year. I hope we can make it. I've been very, very humbled by the support that we've been getting on this channel, on the lives. I hope that these videos reach you guys. So I do hope that the notification bell is on because, you know, it's really nice to get your guys' opinion on everything. Every time I post a video, I do it knowing that somebody is going to at least read it or hear, and they're going to give me their point of view. And I love looking at other people's point of views. Why? Because I'm a random dude in Irkutsk Oblast, and you guys are randomly all over the world, and we're the same. We control absolutely nothing. We don't control anything that goes around in our lives. It's a crazy world. There's so much going on. Thank you so much for taking the time to see this video. I'll see you on the next one.